Hello, and welcome to another Win Daily Sports Show. My name is Michael Brazil. I got my man Ghost here with me, and we are breaking down this beautiful, wonderful Wednesday NBA slate. We got a nice 9-gamer. We had 10. One, unfortunately, is postponed. That actually kind of ruins a lot of stuff, but we're here. We're going to give you some bets. We're going to give you some DFS picks. We're going to have some fun. Ghost man, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, bro. How about yourself?
It's a good day to be alive. Some stuff happened, I think, today. I don't really know. I try not to pay attention to the news. Try not to pay attention to the news, but some shit went down. So, hey, if you're happy about it, awesome. If you're not, awesome, I guess. I don't care. World's going to keep spinning. I think that's the only thing that matters. And the most important thing is we have NBA to bet on tonight. And we got the emergence of the new big three. So excited to talk about that game. But before we do get to that, make sure. Smash that like button. Drop a like. We already have Paul in the chat. Paul, he's even telling you, I drop a like. Thank you. But everybody else, make sure to drop a like as well. We are here to help you out. I don't know if you can tell, Ghost, but I got a cool new ring light. So, like,
I was about to say, yeah? it looks
good, right?
Radiant back there, like a little. Very nice. Well done.
Good. Yeah, I'm happy about it. It was like $30 on Amazon.
We got to keep up with Sia. So I mean,
that's what
we need. All the help that we can get. So
yeah, we really do.
It
is what it is. We appreciate Sia. We love him a lot, and that's why we do what we do to compete with him. So make sure to drop a like. Make sure to follow us at Win Daily Sports. Make sure to follow him at DFS_Ghost. Make sure to follow me at Michael Brazil 1, all on Twitter. The worst place on planet Earth, but that's where you got to be these days. So we are here. We are going to be having some fun. We're going to be breaking down this entire slate for you. This 9-gamer. We're going to win some money doing it. So let's just start. Let's start with the good one. Let's start with the big one. We got the new big three. We have James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving all on the same team. It looks like we're going to have Sexland out again, which is pretty disappointing. But Cleveland's defense has been kind of solid this year. And Brooklyn's defense, they kind of, I don't think they're going to play defense till the playoffs. I don't think they give a shit at this point. So I guess before we kind of break down this particular game in terms of who you're looking to play in DFS, how do you think these three stars are going to fit together? Because there's 2 ball dominant point guards, and then there's another guy who should just always have the ball in his hand, but it's probably not going to work out that way because you have 2 ball dominant point guards. How do you think this thing's going to work out, especially in the beginning before everyone's disgruntled?
I think it's a Kyrie Irving game. I'm staying away from all 3. But if you're picking one of the 3, it's not just like I said before I write my article or anything. I just look at the metrics. I never want to be swayed by price, and then so that's one thing I want to get out of the way. It's not just because he's the cheapest one. It's this is a Kyrie Irving game based on everything that's been happening. Not only is he returning to Cleveland, everything that's been going on with that team, and then on top of that, the one way to attack Cleveland right now is through primary ball handlers, and I honestly do think that Steve Nash is going to put the ball in Kyrie Irving's hands. James Harden is a guy that you can run more off ball. He is a better shooter than Kyrie Irving is. Kyrie's a great shooter, but James Harden is a better one. I mean, that's a great luxury to have when you end up comparing James Harden shooting to Kyrie Irving, and then of course you have Kevin Durant on top of that. But I really do think this is Kyrie's offense in the sense that he's going to have the ball in his hands, running that offense as much as he wants to, and whenever you get that, it's dangerous for the other guys. So I'm looking for Kyrie to really benefit the most out of the 3 for this given matchup. But presently right now, I'm staying away from all 3 of them. One guy that does intrigue me is really Andre Drummond. It intrigues me in a good way and a bad way. So obviously we know that they made the acquisition of Jared Allen. So shout out the revenge narrative there. If you want to play Jared Allen, you didn't have to wait too long to end up waiting for the revenge narrative right away for him and Taurean Prince. Personally, I won't be going there, but hey, if you're going there based on the revenge narrative, I definitely won't say no to that. You have to have fun while making DFS lineups. So if you want to get a sprinkle of Jared Allen, by all means, go for it. Andre Drummond is the guy that really interests me here, and that's because of not only how bad Brooklyn's defense is in general, but their interior defense is probably one of the worst in the entire league.
They don't have anybody. They had Jared Allen. They don't even have anybody.
They don't have anyone on the interior. DeAndre Jordan's doing out there trying to do the best that he can, and obviously he's a beast on the glass. But when it comes to one-on-one interior defense, he's no match for Andre Drummond out there. So this is a game where you see those ridiculous Andre Drummond stat lines. I think the other day he had like 32 points and like 24 rebounds or something like that. Is he going to do that again? I wouldn't let's temper expectations there a little bit. But yeah, see there it is, 33 points and 23 rebounds. So
And then 26 and 24 only a couple nights before. That's
so
insane.
When we're talking about these 2020 Andre Drummond games, and you're looking strictly at what the game script is going to end up looking like, let alone the individual matchup, this does have one of those game scripts where Andre Drummond can go 2020. And we do have the Cavs that, you know what, they're not in the cellar of the East like everyone thought they would be, right? So this is a team that, you know what, they're not just going to go out there and tank for 60 plus games. So Andre Drummond is still going to be a key part of that rotation, even with Jared Allen there. If anyone really takes the L here, it's going to be JaVale McGee. I'm curious to see how they manage the three of them there, but I expect Andre Drummond to not only start, but really handle 30 plus minutes in this matchup.
I mean, they have so many front court guys, right? It's JaVale McGee, it's Andre Drummond, it's Jared Allen, it's Larry Nance Jr. I feel like I'm missing somebody too. Like, what the hell are you doing, Cleveland? Like, I don't really understand. Hopefully they trade some of them at some point, but like that's just starting to get a little crazy. Anything else from this game that you think we can kind of potentially get into a little bit? I mean, Colin Sexton most likely going to be out. Okay, I have to figure out DraftKings again. It's starting to piss me off. But is there anything else from this game that you're looking to try and take advantage of at some point?
The main thing would be to see if both Colin Sexton and Darius Garland are back. Obviously, if one is back into the lineup and the other isn't, then that player that's in definitely gets a huge bump. Other than that, you should see Dotson running point again. Isaac Okoro is going to be on his PJ Tucker kind of shit there, running out there for 40 minutes and trying to grab some rebounds wherever he can. And hopefully he ends up scoring, more than 8 points for the first time in forever. So that'd be nice. But if you're looking for a guy that's at 4,400 on a slate that you're starting for value, you could definitely do a lot worse than Isaac Okoro, because if both Sexton and Garland are out, I don't think there's another player at 4,400 that's going to get any more minutes than Isaac Okoro on a slate like this. Personally, I'm not playing anybody from this game, but Isaac Okoro is out there 4,400. You definitely won't find somebody else playing that amount of minutes.
At what point can we start to play those big three? Like, at what point does it make sense to be like, okay, like, is it just totally based on price? Is it after 2 weeks of watching them play? Is there something that you're looking at to say like, all right, I love Jake. You were talking about locking James Harden literally no matter his price at one point this year. Now he's surrounded by two guys that are also incredible. We saw what he did his first two games in Brooklyn. Now you throw in Kyrie in there. Like, at what point does it start to make sense to actually play them in DFS?
Well, for me, it's more so the matchup tonight that doesn't really make sense for me to kind of load up on these Brooklyn guys, especially on a slate that you're absolutely starting for value. I mean, a lot of the value was coming from the Portland-Memphis game, and then that game got postponed. And even at that, the value was, Rodney Hood. You had obviously Tillman was going to be one of, if not the highest owned player on the entire slate, and that was a good spot for him at 3,500. You could even play Dieng as a backup center. All these guys are off the slate now, so when you end up stooping into this value just to fit a guy like that, you want them to have ceiling games, and I really don't think that that's a case against the Cavs. If it was a game against the Bucks, if it was a game like against Atlanta where we knew the total was going to hit like 280 something, then I would find a way to kind of jam these guys in. But in a spot like this, I wasn't really interested in them at all to begin with. So I'm really using tonight I'm going to turn on the game and really watch how their rotations work. And for me, it's going to be key to see when one person comes off, what happens when to the other two guys, because I don't think they're going to take more than one of them off at a time. It doesn't really make sense because of how bad their defense is there. The whole point is that you have two of them on the court at all times. So if Kyrie was to come off, I'm really curious to see how that affects Kevin Durant and James Harden, just them on the court. And then as they get into that 6 to 8 minute range with Kyrie off the court, I want to see what happens when Kyrie comes back out there. Is he back to being the primary ball handler, like what we saw in minutes 0 to 6? If that's the case, of course, like we're saying, Kyrie's going to be the primary ball handler. But again, I want to see what happens as the game goes on. Are they really just riding the hot hand? Is it when Kyrie's out there, he's the primary ball handler and KD's kind of in the post? Is it James Harden off ball? Are they kind of just saying like, hey, if this guy's going 3 for 3 from deep, well, it's a James Harden night all of a sudden? It'll make a very interesting ploy to end up like seeing what happens with these guys in DFS. I'm going to have some exposure to them as long as I like what I see tonight. Tonight I didn't like that spot at all for them regardless. But as of next game, I'm not afraid to get exposure because at one point these guys are going to go nuclear before their prices all drop. And everyone's going to take that same wait and see approach. You got to be there before one of these guys goes nuts. And then everyone's like, oh, okay, you could play this guy, you could play that guy. And you got to be there beforehand and just make sure that you're jumping the curve.
It's like Steph Curry in his 62-point game. You already have to be there, man. You had to be there before you were there. And we are using our odds from our friends over at PointsBet. If you are not a part of PointsBet, they do some pretty cool shit. Make sure to go to pointsbet.com, use promo code WINDAILY500. You get a bunch of free money. Now you have some extra bucks to play around with. And this game, actually, Brooklyn is favored by 11 over under of 226. And I also just wanted to look at some of the player props because they're pretty awesome. James Harden's PRA. Let's see. James Harden's PRA 39.5, Kevin Durant's 37.5, and Kyrie Irving 33.5. All kind of low, right? Considering what they've been doing.
See, this is the thing. Even books don't really.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they don't know. They always know. But it's like, if that's any indicator, it's like there's going to be a 33% split where it's like, you know what? This is not a game where, Kevin Durant is on John Collins, so they're going to use and abuse John Collins in the paint. Like, it's not that kind of game where Kyrie's going up against Ja Morant. It's not. There's no clear individual matchup where it's like, this is going to be the guy. On top of that, it's an 11-point spread.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, one of them, I feel like it's very difficult to get three of them off the court at once. Even if they're winning by 20, one of them has to be on the court.
One of them's going to be out there, and it's likely to be Kyrie in a spot like this where he's coming back. If I had to guess, we already saw what James Harden and KD did for the past couple of games. It wouldn't surprise me to see Steve Nash be like, kind of look over to Kyrie and be like, hey, do you want to still go in? And if he gives him the nod, like, yeah, I'm good to go, then he'll probably end up playing Kyrie a little bit in the fourth. But even then, I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Nash kind of ends up checking with him first, because if Kyrie's like, nah, like I'm juiced or I'm gassed, whatever, he won't hesitate to sit all three if they have to.
We'll see what happens. Uncle Drew makes a statement. Yep, handshake. Yeah. He gave you the handshake, so if you want to shake his hand back. Looks like 2K stats when we're talking about Andre Drummond. Yep, that was awesome. Hey, what's up, Berman? Thanks again for actually helping last night. Made a few bucks. Well, hey, man, hope you make a few bucks tonight. And this isn't a 2-game slate that starts at 9 o'clock. Yeah. So maybe we can have a little bit more fun with this one. Brian, doesn't look like Brian's playing tonight. I'm sorry to hear that, Brian. But hey, every once in a while, you got to take a night off. You got to breathe, man. You got to breathe. Yeah, absolutely. Antoria, what's up, buddy? Coming back. Came in second with that lineup yesterday. Not going to lie, I don't remember your exact lineup. I remember you sending shit over, so I'm glad that it helped. No Reggie tonight, guys. I wonder where the fuck that asshole is. It's pretty unfortunate, but whatever. And, of course, make sure to subscribe to our channel as well. We have stuff up there all the time, so come and hang out. One last before we get to some of the other games I've had to only Harden because he'll get the assists and rebounds. That's a good point. He really does. He's triple-double machine. I think there's actually on DraftKings, you can get a super boost. Either Kevin Durant or James Harden gets a triple-double, and it's like plus 400 or something. So,
wow.
I don't know. Go size. Whoa, yeah, interesting.
I can't use DK Sportsbook or Final.
I know. I'm sorry.
That's interesting.
It's something. Those super boosts, they don't actually work because they make it like, it's like it goes from plus 450 to plus like 490. It's like, well, you really didn't give me that much, and you're already giving me some shit. But whatever, they're still fun. Let's move on. We have Dallas and Indiana. Ghosts, dark horse, the Indiana Pacers. We'll see what happens with Karis LeVert coming back hopefully soon. Hopefully he's healthy and everything's good. Dallas is actually favored by 2 on the road in Indiana. Over under sits at 219.5. We saw KP. I think that was kind of one of the big questions. Was that 2 nights ago now? I don't really remember anymore. And we didn't know what was going to happen. He actually ended up having a way better game than Luka did. Luka finally had a floor game. But hey, when you get triple doubles every other night, how angry can you really be with the guy? Let's talk to me. How do you feel about this game? Is this one that you're enjoying, you're liking, or is this one that you're kind of staying away from? What are your thoughts on this?
This one that I'm crossing off my board altogether.
What? Even Monte Samotis?
No, that's
okay. Just want to make sure. Man.
You can play Sabonis on any slate. I'm never going to say no. The one thing that I did want to point out, even wrote in my article, it's definitely a tough matchup against Zinger. But that being said, their play styles match very similarly in the sense that Sabonis gets out there and runs the pick and roll with Brogdon while Turner goes out there and does his thing in the paint. Sabonis is the one that really floats around the 3-point line. He can actually knock down the 3 as well. He's a very good passer, so they're not out there to kind of have him out there in the open space. And Porzingis is a very similar style. So that's really going to be a fun matchup to watch. Sabonis versus Porzingis. Brogdon's going to be all up in Doncic's grill tonight. So, and especially with the amount of value or lack thereof value that we have on this slate, it's an easy fade for me to play Luka Doncic, especially how he's somehow coming in 30+% owned on a slate like this. So I'm really curious to see what kind of disgusting plays that people are kind of pairing him with to make that work. But that for me is a no-no. So I'm gladly fading a 30% on Luka. If it burns me, it burns me. I'll take process all day long there. You can play Sabonis. I'll definitely never say no to that. Zinger is still underpriced, but outside of that, nothing much to go with here. If you want a bit of a narrative, we'll kind of go narrative in almost every game. I'm pretty sure I have one for every game. NBA released a top 3 for each award, like this far into the season. We're like 12 or 13 games into the season.
Like
and Miles
MVP
Turner,
and like
MVP,
okay.
Defensive Player of the Year, 6th Man of the Year, et cetera, et cetera. And Miles Turner was left off the top 3 for Defensive Player of the Year, and he absolutely lost his mind on Twitter. So he's questionable right now. If he ends up going there, it might be a block party out there for Miles Turner tonight.
Let's go. You always love a good narrative. Yeah, we got a bunch on the slate tonight, which is fun.
Yeah, there's a lot.
In a 9-game slate, as we always talk about, you have to plant your flag somewhere, and I think that part is very important. Just a little bit of note, Glide coming in. Appreciate you, buddy. Tyler Hero is out, so we haven't made it to that game. But
happy birthday, Tyler Hero.
Is it his birthday?
Yeah, it's his birthday.
Oh, dude's a fucking.
That was the narrative in the Miami game.
Damn it. Well, there goes our Miami narrative.
Yeah.
Here's a good question about that previous game. What about Brunson as a value play in this game?
I mean, this slate is so ugly in terms of value that, yeah, it works. I mean, not like for me, we're going to talk about players that start versus players that don't. We're going to, because I have one player that's coming in ridiculously high on that I'm likely not playing tonight. That's likely getting a spot start, but it's just, when we're talking about a guy like Jalen Brunson, not only did he start last game, but he actually got good quality minutes. It wasn't just fourth quarter run when they were getting blown out by the Raptors by 15. You know what I mean? It was like, you know what, he actually played solid minutes. He played alongside Luka. His 3-point shot was knocking down. So when we're talking about the Isaac Okoro kind of plays where it's like they're going to be out there, so and then you kind of just cross your fingers, hope that they do something. Jalen Brunson's kind of one of those guys where, you know what, his shot was dropping. He looked good out there. He can handle the ball if Luka ends up taking a few minutes off the floor. So yeah, he's definitely in play tonight.
Love it. All right, let's move on to this Boston Philly game. Jason Tatum's out, and his price is $9,200. That's also very confusing. Ben Simmons almost got traded to the Houston Rockets. Is this a?
That would have been nice to be able to fire that clip up.
Oh, that would have been awesome. That would have been pretty awesome. But with Jason Tatum out, I mean, his usage is insane. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I'm sure you have a better understanding than I do. But what does that? How much value? I know you said the slate is ugly in terms of value, but that has to open up something in this game, right?
Yeah, the issue with Boston, though, is that they kind of had this, I don't even want to say 3-headed monster. It's like a 3-headed teddy bear in the front court between Robert Williams, Tristan Thompson, and Daniel Tice. So, like, even there, their prices are not low enough where it's like, hey, let me take a shot on Daniel Tice or TT or Robert Williams. Like, the value is just not there for like, talking about a 3-man rotation, one of the worst front courts in the East. So, like, for me, it's going to be a hard pass. This is another game where I'm crossing it off my board altogether. But if I had to pick a couple plays in this one, if you want exposure to it, Joel Embiid's still too cheap, 9,600. Said it time and time again. Anytime you get sub 10K Joel Embiid, before you look at the matchup or anything like that, you should be able to consider him in your pool. Now he's going up against Daniel Tice and Tristan Thompson and Robert Williams. He's going to use and abuse the paint all night long there. So Joel Embiid certainly in play as a pay-up spot. My issue with Joel Embiid is that I like centers more that are $1,000 cheaper than he is. So that's the main reason why he didn't make my primary lineup, but he's definitely a great play out there. Jaylen Brown's going to get all the usage that he can pretty much take on tonight. Kemba's still on a 20-minute restriction there. So it does cap his upside a little bit. Even 20 minutes of Kemba is still a little bit of action that you would want to go to Jaylen Brown, but Kemba's still going to be involved there. So at 8,700, he's not making my primary lineup. None of these guys are, but he's another solid play tonight. And then you could look to a guy like Shake Milton with Seth Curry out. The way that their new offense is running now in this in this 2020-2021 season, they really wanted to. Yeah, I like the question.
There we go, Ben.
So what they really want to do is that their new model now, they shipped Al Horford out. They brought Seth Curry in. You know, they shipped Josh Richardson out. They brought in more shooting. They have Shake Milton. They have Maxey and stuff like that. So for them, it's really more about spacing and shooting now to kind of let Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid do his thing. Tobias Harris can play the post, or he could also, play the mid-range fairly well on the wing there. So Shake Milton is a guy that when Seth Curry comes out, their offense still relies on that shooting. So he's a guy that could chalk up a lot of shots tonight. Not only 5,600. Again, we're talking about a slate that there is barely to little value out there. So he's certainly in play as well. But those are very quick, short list of guys that I have interest in. But none of these guys are going to make my primary lineup.
Shout out to Tobias Harris, man. That dude makes more money than most people.
Yeah, shout out his agent. Wow.
Yeah. Shout out that guy's agent. Oh, and just information: Celtics on the road. Sixers favored by 5. Over under sits at 221 and a half.
Like that.
Juice on the over. So that's nice. We're always here for the overs, baby. We're always here for the overs. I'm actually curious. Now we'll move on. What else do we got here? Detroit and Atlanta. Okay. Everybody's been talking about it. We've been getting questions about it today. Kevin Huerter at 9,500. This dude was 5,700 2 days ago. I mean, I know these are gigantic tech companies and sometimes things get weird, but I have to assume this is just complete error, right? There's no way somebody jumps this much. And yeah, he had a good game last time, but like not $9,500 worth of a good game.
Yeah, I missed my chance out of viral tweet yesterday. I texted Adam and Brian yesterday at I think it was like 9 p.m. I started writing for today's slate. I always like to get a head start. And I saw Kevin Huerter at 9,500 and I completely missed my chance because then when I woke up this morning, everybody was, tweeting memes about it and this and that. So kind of mad at myself for missing my chance there. Could have had another viral run to my Kyle Kuzma, Jonah Hill comparison tweet there. But this is a mistake. This is it's a data entry error. If I've ever seen one. 9,500 is supposed to be 5,900. That would make 100% sense.
5,500 even makes sense.
Yeah, that one too. I don't know what happened here, but
love it.
If you play Kevin Huerter, if someone out there says, "Oh, Kevin Huerter tournament play," like as a joke, like please don't take that seriously. Like don't play Kevin Huerter at 95.
Leverage. How many people?
Yeah, the amount of times you're going to use that, it's an ownership leverage.
Yep.
Or
ownership
like that, bro. Get out of here with that. Anyways.
Love it.
This is my favorite game to stock. This is by far my favorite game to stock.
Right, cool, because we actually, how much Detroit, Atlanta for GPP?
I have all of it.
Yep.
Let's go. This is because again, no Portland, Memphis really, really messed up my lineup. So I just, you know what? I said I'm going all in one game and really all in, meaning like my main pieces of my primary lineup are going to be from that game. I'm not stacking 8 guys from one game, of course. But I will have Trey, Jeremy Grant, Capella, and Derrick Rose in my primary lineup. So there you go. I just put half of it on the screen for you guys. Can't give the rest away, of course. But this is a spot where I actually built it literally 30 seconds before we came on here. I got the notification that both Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter are doubtful. That completely shifted the landscape of my lineup because it's going to be a Trae Young, Clint Capella pick and roll game all game long. And I absolutely love to see that. It's going to be a nice 20 and 15 game for Clint Capella. He's going to be able to dominate the post out there. And that was a ton of fun to watch him go out there with Trae Young. So absolutely love that combo there. And of course, Atlanta's very vulnerable in the ring. DeAndre Hunter's a great 3-and-D wing. Absolutely love DeAndre Hunter coming out of UVA. Guy's an absolute stud. But now that he's out, nobody out there on the wing is going to be able to guard Jeremy Grant. You got Bogdan, you got Gallo. Everyone's out on the wing for Atlanta. So Jeremy Grant should be able to feast in this matchup. And Derrick Rose has been popping in the model all day long. They know that Atlanta has no bench. So when D Rose comes out there and he's facing the likes of Rajon Rondo or he's facing, and any one of these other backups out there, even if he's facing Trae Young, it's a plus EV matchup for Derrick Rose. Love the spot for him to really push the pace and continue his scoring run in the past 2 games.
I love it. Do you think there's probably a couple PRAs out there that we might be interested in this one? Maybe.
Yeah, when I had mentioned it to you before we went live, I was like, check PRAs. Can you check Clint Capella and Trae Young for me, please?
Absolutely, I can. While we're doing that, Brian has a question for Monkey Night Fight still, and I respect that you're sticking
Monday
with
Night Football. Monday Night Football. 8 for 8. Luka under 28.5. KD over 27.5. Harden under 27.5. Trae under 25.5. Brian, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me. Don't do that.
Brian, we're here for the overs. I see way too many views on that.
Jalen under, Vooch over. I like that. D'Lo over, and Embiid over. The only one that I'm like, oh man, don't do that to me is Trae Young. Don't do that to me. Run it twice. Can you do that? Can you run it twice? Is that a thing? Can you do it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
run it twice. Run it twice with a Trae over. Just run it twice. Do it for me. And wear your Dak jersey when you're doing that.
Oh, here's some info.
Sabonis. That's it. Play Sabonis.
Lock it, baby. Lock it in.
Death taxes, Domantas Sabonis. Let's go.
Death taxes, Domantas Sabonis. Here, I'm still looking up those PRAs. Just give me 1 second. Tyler, sorry I'm late. No worries, dude. This is YouTube. You can watch this literally whenever you want. And if you haven't, make sure to hit that like button. We would really appreciate that.
FanDuel GVP. Trey, Dragic, Herder. Yeah, Herder's not 9,500 on FanDuel. It's kind of
nice. Isn't it like $4,000 cheaper?
Yeah, kind of nice that you're able to play Herder on FanDuel tonight. D'Lo,
it's not a bad play. It's just
Oubre. He's a great play tonight, but when he's more expensive than Trae Young,
anyway, love to see it.
Herder, D'Lo, Jeremy Grant, love that. Oubre, Draymond, Gordon, Plum Dog, the magic sauce, Plum Dog. It's the Win Daily special. Yeah, Oubre and Green. Both of them been popping today. Ride that out. Ride it. I like it. One thing, just make a duplicate lineup. Swap out Oubre for somebody that has a safer floor, just in case Oubre is the one thing that prevents you from getting there. He could shoot 10 for 15, like he could shoot 1 for 15. So it's he's still trying to find his shot, still trying to find his role in that offense. But he's been playing great the past couple games. So I like that lineup. Strong lineup.
All right, here we go. Trae Young, PRA 38.5.
Over.
Okay. Jeremy Grant, 30.5.
Over.
Capella, 29.5.
Over in the first half.
And Mason Plumlee, 17.5.
I'm not touching that.
No?
We'll go with the trifecta. We'll stay with the trifecta. Over.
You're loving Plum Dog, and now all of a sudden.
No. You don't touch it in case he gets into foul trouble against my boy Clint Capella. Take the Clint Capella over instead.
Okay, Clint Capella. Honestly, they're all like super juicy, like minus 130. So I'm here for it. What if I parlayed them all together? Man, that would be fun.
That's what I assumed you were doing. You're not taking these individually. We only do over in parlays. Come on now. Well, things haven't changed.
I know, but okay, let's see. That turns. Oh, they're not letting me parlay. God damn it. Sometimes these sports books suck. Stupid. I'll go to fucking anyway. Awesome.
We'll do it after the show.
Yeah, we'll do it. Miles Turner out. Here we go. Switch trade over. Under Harden is 26.5 now, and KD 25.6 over now. Okay.
Nice.
What do we got? If Trey goes over and it hits, I'll buy you a Dak jersey. Love it. Oh, here we go. This is some news. Jakar Sampson is active. Thanks.
If we get a 40% on Jakar Sampson,
I'm here for it. I'm 100% here for it. Took the under on Luka. Bogdan guarding him.
Exactly. It's a very tough matchup. Bogdan's going to be all up in his face, man. Brogdon.
FanDuel GPP. Trey Dragic, Herder, Rose Robinson, Jalen, Draymond, Vanderbilt, Vooch.
Yeah, I like that.
Love it. Ben, thoughts on none? We'll get to that game actually. I think in a second. That's the next game. Bang bang. We got Miami. We got Toronto again using points bet. We have the Heat on the road. Only 3 point. I mean, are they really on the road? Ghost. Are they really? Raptors at home, favored by 3. Over sits at over under. I apologize. Sits at 222. I actually think I bet this game at 4.5 to Miami, and now it's already down to 3.
Yeah, Tyler Hero. I'll probably change that a lot.
Yeah. Well, no, it was 4. Miami was favored by 4.5, or Miami underdogs by 4.5.
You went the other.
Yeah. People are starting to catch on to you and your hatred of your own team, the Tampa Bay Raptors.
No kidding.
So we have Jay Budd out. We have Tyler Hero out. Bam's 8,600. Kendrick Nunn, Duncan Robinson. I mean, ball's got to go somewhere. That had to have opened up some value, right?
It's a smash spot for Goran Dragic.
Let's go.
I really like Goran Dragic in this game. Chris Boucher, gotta love Chris Boucher. I'm gonna talk about him every show until he gets over 8K. I'm gonna talk about him every show. Make sure you guys go and watch the preseason preview show. Talk about Chris Boucher.
Ghost talked about Chris Boucher.
He's just been a force. This is a guy that can match up fairly well against Bam Adebayo in the paint, and they have absolutely nobody at the 5 right now. So I'm expecting Chris Boucher to see 30 plus minutes in a matchup like this. The Heat need Bam on the court. That means Toronto needs Boucher on the court. Minutes, making money. So I'm firing up Chris Boucher again at 7,300. Outside of that, not much to love in this game. Duncan Robinson's always a flyer that had, I guess I could say, piques my interest on DraftKings because of that 3-point shot. But at 5,800, that's it. It's no man's land for me for Duncan Robinson. That price is kind of ridiculous now. It was nice when they were running 7 or 8-man rotations, and he was playing 38 minutes, taking 25 shots. But now with the majority of their team back, with the absence of Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero, of course, this is a spot that I'm not paying a $5,800 Duncan Robinson. Way cheaper on FanDuel, makes more sense. Sucks that you don't get the 3-point bonus like you do on DK, but yeah, I'm out on Duncan Robinson at 5,800. OG Anunoby is still a guy that I'm going to continue talking about as well. Just the way that the Raptors team organization is kind of shifting right now. They end up going smaller. He's a guy that sees a ton of minutes. He's relied upon extremely heavily in this offense now. He's somebody that takes the load off of Pascal Siakam's shoulders out there, along with Chris Boucher. So he gets a ton of minutes. He's a guy that's really active on the wing, just a guy that consistently sees 33 plus minutes, active on the glass. You see the amount of steals that he gets on top of that. He's very, very active on the defensive end. You're not going to get crazy volume from a guy like OG. You're never going to see him take 20 to 25 shots. Even if you take Lowry and Van Vliet out of the lineup, you likely won't even see him take 20 shots. But it's just his efficiency is there where, you know what, he'll get the job done for you, pile up the rebounds because they run small. So him and Boucher are both grabbing rebounds as much as possible. And he's just a force on the defensive end. So OG is somebody that if you want a model of consistency, he's that guy at 6K for me tonight. Perfect pivot to a guy like Duncan Robinson at 5,800 where you're kind of hoping he goes 10 for 10 from beyond the arc. Grab OG instead. Kendrick Nunn, I'm not really going there. I really do feel like this is a Goran Dragic game. This is a game that Goran Dragic really can absolutely go off here, and it's going to be a tight one too. So a tight one. So
nice and tight.
Kendrick Nunn's going to be a no-go for me. If they were playing a team like Detroit, they were playing the Hawks, they were playing the T-Wolves, any one of these teams that, you know what, he could go bonkers in the fourth quarter. That's not going to happen against the Raptors. So again, a slate starring for value. All of these guys are in play. But Kendrick Nunn would not necessarily be highest on my list, but he would be on the list just because of how bad the options are at when you get to that 4K and lower range tonight.
Just to bring up some more PRAs, OG Anunoby's PRA is 18.5. That seems kind of low, right?
Over.
Yeah. All right. I'll just take that one by itself. That's fine. Yeah, there we go. And we're good. All right, sweet. Got that. Let's go back to the chat. Guys have any questions? Make sure. Cam Johnson, the only value small forward on FanDuel.
Check the model.
Check the model.
There's a couple other pivots there. We're going to talk about Cam Johnson. When I said that I wanted to talk about somebody discussing starters and whatnot, Cam Johnson's that guy. So we'll talk about that.
We'll get there. 1v1 for Cash Dragic versus Deep Rose.
0.4 difference. You know what? Honestly, if you want the honest truth, what I do in a situation like that, because obviously you guys know I don't build lineups without it. I just make 2, and I duplicate 1 for 1. Considering that you're going for Cash, this is a Cash build. Let me check ownership for you real quick. This is DraftKings, I assume.
It doesn't say.
More on DraftKings, right?
Yeah, usually I think Ben's hitting us up.
Actually, he sends us DraftKings lineup. So let me check here. We have D Rose versus Dragic. It was.
Yes.
Dragic pulling more ownership, so you got to go there.
There you go. There you go. Doesn't get any easier than that. Just listen to the man. Just listen to the man. All right. FanDuel, Young, Curry, Rose, Ross, Grant, Aldridge, Green, and Wiseman. People still love this Wiseman guy, huh?
Yeah, you're missing a player in there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. Give us one more. Eduardo, Glide, DK, SC, GPP, Rose, Goodwin, Cam Johnson.
No good.
Okay. I'm not even going to read the rest. Glide.
Right there. No good one.
Back to the drawing board.
LMA is in a spot tonight where it's like, you know what, there's so much value in that mid-range in these later games that we're going to talk about. Take that lineup and then just X out Goodwin, LMA, and the rest is okay. We're going to talk about Cam Johnson though when I get to that game. Hunter and Reddish are out, so thanks for posting that, Mike. It's exactly what I was saying. It's a Trey and Capella game. Load up.
Love it.
And you'll also see that the top value on the slate throughout the entire day was a certain player in Atlanta. Now you know why.
Now you know why. The model knows. Moving on, we have Orlando and Minnesota. Orlando is favored by 4 points on the road. Over-under sits at 219, so not the highest, not the lowest. What do you like from this game, Ghost Man?
All of the Vucevic tonight. He's priced down $1,000 cheaper than what he should be at. I can repeat myself over and over again. He added a 3-point shot to his arsenal. This is a guy that's just a force on the offensive end. He's a force on the glass. No talents for Minnesota tonight. You don't have to get over analytical when discussing this play. He's a guy that has 50+ point upside. That's $1,000 cheaper than what he should be at. He's going to be in my main lineup right now. That I'm 100% sure of that on DraftKings.
Vooch points 23.5, PRA sits at 39.5. 39.
See, like that alone, he has higher PRAs than KD, Harden, and Kyrie. I know there are 3 out there versus 1 man, but it just shows you.
Pay attention.
Those guys are all 11K on a slate like this. So I like Aaron Gordon. Another good spot for him. Why is he point guard on DraftKings, by the way? What is going on here?
That's a good question. I think he might handle the ball occasionally, I guess. I'll be honest. I don't watch that or much Orlando Magic. So
No. What is going on here? He's not. Anyways. If you want to play point guard Aaron Gordon, go for it. But slot him at small forward position with confidence. Obviously, forward's a lot thinner than guard position tonight. D'Lo, absolutely love him in a spot like this. It's just more of a price thing for me on DraftKings that I can't get there because there's other guys that are in better spots that are cheaper than him. So for me, it's tough to end up paying 88 for D'Lo in a slower-ish pace versus Orlando. It's not the Atlanta game, right? So it's a good spot for him. Just that price is a little steep. Love him on FanDuel, though. Love him on FanDuel. Nas is a guy that I'll always have interest in, but it's very little to none against Vooch. So he fills in for Towns, automatically has my interest, but against Vooch, that's gonna be it's gonna be a hard pass for me. Vanderbilt his price quickly jumped $1,000, so be careful when using a guy like that. He's gonna have to attack the glass and really contribute on the defensive end for him to get you there. People are gonna check his game logs. Oh wow, he put up 29 DK in 29 minutes. He also had a block and 3 steals. These are extremely the stats there when on defense for a guy like Vanderbilt. He's not a Paul George and Anthony Davis, a Giannis. These are not guys that consistently get steals and blocks. So just be careful of that. But my main play from this game is going to be Nikola Vucevic by far.
Vooch, baby. I love it. Let's go back to the drawing board, the chat. We love you guys. Sincerely appreciate it. No trolls tonight, which was actually kind of fun. I enjoyed it. I appreciate you guys for all sticking with the positivity for us. Sean, what do we got? FanDuel, Fox, Dragic, George, Rose, Gay, Leonard, Boucher, Aldridge, and Reed.
I wouldn't play Rudy Gay and LMA together, Aldridge.
Wait, here's a better question. Would you ever play Rudy Gay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Isn't the dude like 95 years old at this point? How does he still like how is he
said, would I ever play him? If he's free, I would play him.
Ghost.
I mean, look, if it's a slate that we're starting for value, I think his price is 4,900 on DraftKings. So on FanDuel, it's probably, they usually match guys like that because FanDuel doesn't really know what they're doing sometimes. So small forward sucks. It's really bad. You could go down to a guy like Cam Johnson if you want and just eat the chalk and upgrade LMA. I'm not confident in your Rudy Gay, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Naz Reid combo. A lot of people are going to go Vooch at center, and rightfully so.
Understandable. Maxey or Danny Green for captain mode on DraftKings.
I haven't looked at that showdown. Hit me up in Discord if you need help. But if I'm taking a shot in the dark right now, I haven't even looked at that slate. I don't play. I don't play showdowns till later in the night, till the main slate's done. I would go Maxey over Danny Green for sure.
Just for information, Gay is 4,100. Looks like so.
It's really cheap for a guy like that. So just make sure that you're not chasing the game log from yesterday. That's not a standard output for a guy like Rudy Gay. DeMar's back. They have LMA. They have DeJounte Murray. But it is a good pace-up spot for them against Golden State. So they're going to need him to match up on Kelly Oubre on the wing and Andrew Wiggins.
Love it. And we'll be interviewing Kelly Oubre Sr. in a couple weeks. Get ready for that one. That would be fun. Can you guys kind of break it down for me? I'm new here. Hey, man, just hang out, listen, ask questions. That's literally what we're here to do. We are here to help. FanDuel, GPP, Trey Dragic, PG, D Rose, Boo Bradley, Gordon, Godzingis, Draymond, and Aiden.
I like it outside of Aiden.
I was gonna say, haven't heard his name yet, or haven't really heard his name all year. It feels like
not really on. I was on DeAndre Aiden against Washington. That did not work out very well. That was not fun. He was so high on to it. It was a nice spot for him. I had a ton of them that didn't really work out. So not only just because of that, it's just his role in this offense right now seems kind of lost. So I'm off on Aiden. Just try and get up to Vooch for me, bro. You got to do it.
You got to do it. You got to do it. Eduardo, hey, he's back. Young, Curry, Rose, Ross, Grant, Robinson, Aldridge. I think he keeps saying Aldridge, but it's really Aldridge, Green, and Wiseman.
Playing Draymond and Wiseman together is definitely not plus EV. You would like Green to slot in at the 5 if Wiseman gets into foul trouble or anything like that. And when Wiseman's on the court, Draymond's likely not doing anything in a matchup like this other than, defensively. Like he's doing something on an actual court from a DFS perspective. He's not really doing much. So I wouldn't play those two guys together. But outside of that, it's good. Terrence Ross is not somebody that I'm on at all, though. Make sure you can try and get a swap for that. You could come off one of your stud point guards. Playing Curry with Green, with Wiseman, with Aldridge, like it's a nice little game stack there, but you can lose one of your Warriors to upgrade Terrence Ross, that's for sure.
There we go. What about quickly for Cleveland?
No.
And Brian is back with more Monkey Night fights. Steph under 25, Luka under 25, Claw over 26, Harden under 26, Katie over 26, Trey under 25, and Jalen under 25, Vooch over 24.
I never bet unders on Steph Curry. Never, ever, ever. Just because he could drop 29.5 in 12 minutes if he wants to.
There we go. Dude dropped 62 the other night.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Especially in this matchup, they're gonna have trouble guarding him. A lot of teams just end up triple teaming them. San Antonio doesn't have the athleticism to do that outside of Dejounte Murray, and he blows on defense. So
he's very much in Steph under because he kept Steph, Claw, Vooch the same. D'Lo over, Booker under, Wood over.
I'm not taking the under on Christian Wood. I absolutely
feel like we're missing somebody. PG over. I missed that. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting, Brian. I like that you love Monkey Night Fight as much as you do. It is fun. I also love that you only do
how he hedges it with his DraftKings and FanDuel lineups. That's like, wow.
Fucking 9-dimensional chess right there, baby. Let's get it. All right, let's move on. A couple games still to go. We got 3 left again. What?
We'll burn through these ones. I got a lot of quick thoughts on these ones.
Phoenix Suns on the road, favored by, looks like it was 6. It literally just went down in front of my eyes to 5.5. It's interesting. Rockets, I don't even know what the Rockets are. I don't think anybody does, and it's understandable. We got all that value from the Rockets. What was that, 2 nights ago?
Yeah.
Is it still the same?
It was for a while. It was a good stretch. It was a good stretch that we had.
Sounds like it's over.
Yeah, that's long gone. Christian Wood is $1,000 cheaper than what he should be, honestly, like this. I don't care if Boogie's back. You could run a lineup with 2 out of 3, because I already told you I'm playing King Capella, so I'm not telling you which of the 2 that I'm playing. You could run a lineup 2 out of 3. I'm going double center with Vooch, Christian Wood, or Capella. Run 2 out of those 3 guys. It's definitely a double center night tonight. All these guys are way too cheap, so it's a route that I very rarely take, if ever. Tonight I'm going like that. All 3 of these guys are way too cheap. So Christian Wood at 84, Oladipo at 78 is too cheap as well. We saw the amount of usage that he's going to get there, and not to say it again, but it's exactly what we said, where they're going to want to show him off. They're going to want to trade him. He's going to want to show off so that he can get a hefty contract in the offseason. It's win-win for for both parties. So Depot in a spot against Devin Booker, you love to see it.
You love to see it.
I do like this spot for him. I do love to see it. So
how has Devin Booker been this year? I feel like we haven't really talked about him
slacking
at all.
He's been dogging it. 5 for 21 from the field, man.
Yikes.
He's been dogging it.
9 for 19, 8 for 19. Those aren't the best numbers.
Yeah, he's been dogging it. So I'm not playing Devin Booker. And it's sad because I love playing Devin Booker. He's one of my favorite players in the league. I love Devin Booker. He's the older Tyler Hero. He was Tyler Hero before Tyler Hero was Tyler Hero to me.
Love it.
So And not from a player perspective. I'm saying like guys I love watching in the league. One guy that I want to touch upon because I'm sure, I don't know if we had it in the comments yet, but I'm sure everyone's talking about Cam Johnson. Everyone's talking about Cam Johnson. Everyone's playing Cam Johnson. He's coming in over 40% on Cam Johnson, getting the start. I will say this, just because somebody starts does not mean that they get minutes, if that makes sense. You're going to tell me, bro, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Cam Johnson played 23 minutes last game, 8 of which came in the fourth quarter. If you pull up Crowder, so I'm going to ask you to close that window. I don't do this for game logs, by the way. Like we have a separate tool to end up analyzing. That's how I know that he only played 8 in the fourth and et cetera, et cetera. But just to show everyone that's listening, Jay Crowder played more minutes. Just because somebody is starting and you see them at $4,000 does not mean they will play the most minutes at their own position. Cam Johnson is way better off coming off the bench for the Suns. So this is a spot where at only 3,900, again, the slate is starving for value. It makes sense. It's okay. Is he going to hit value? Most probably. But I'm just saying for future reference, this is a spot where the process indicates fade here. You would not play a guy like this that plays 20 minutes just because he's starting and he's going to have that green check mark on him. Like he's 40% owned. You could get you could get different. And by playing a guy like Devin Vassell from the next game that we're going to talk about, who's coming in at a tenth of the ownership that Cam Johnson is, and they're the exact same price. So that's a spot where it's like if you want to win these tournaments where there's 30, 40, 50,000 people, playing a 40% owned guy that's 3,900 is not the way to do it. That's for sure. Am I going to have him in some lineups? Absolutely. It's a good spot for him. It's a pace-up matchup against a team that plays no defense. Forget price, forget the player, forget anything like that. Those are the game environments that we want to attack. So it is a good spot for him on the wing. But again, we're talking about a guy that's 40% owned. So run multiple lineups where you end up swapping out a guy like that for another value piece in that $3,500 to $4,500 range. He sits right in the middle of that. You could be jumping tens of thousands of people at once if your pivot ends up outscoring him.
Tens of thousands. People listen to the man. Ghost knows what he's doing. Before we go back,
if it's 50,000 people in a contest and he's coming in 40% owned, 20,000 people have Cam Johnson in their lineup.
Tens.
Forget the percentages for a second. Think about it. You're in a contest where 20,000 people have the same player. That's like when that player is Trae Young because Reddish is out, because Herter is out, because Bogdanovic is out, because okay, you're gonna want Trae Young when he goes off for 70. I don't care if a 40% on Cam Johnson goes for 22. Oh yeah, he got 22 points. Okay, that's not what's gonna break the slate. A Trae Young 70-point performance would break the slate. Steph Curry dropping 62 breaks the slate. Andre Drummond getting 46 points and 96 rebounds in a game like he does every other second game, that breaks the slate. Your value play getting you 22 points instead of 24, that's not what wins you $100,000. I can tell you that right now. So
there we go. Ghost man dropping the knowledge. Before we get back to the chat, I say let's just run through these last 2 games so that we can look at all the lineups at once. Steph Curry. Yes.
Yeah, always in play. He's always in play. The one thing that I want to talk about is the San Antonio defensive coverage system. I touched on it a little bit earlier. They don't have the raw athleticism that they once had because there's no Manu Ginobili, there's no Tony Parker, there's not they don't have that backcourt that's really, really athletic outside of DeJounte Murray. The absence of Derek White greatly affects their team defense. So they're not fast enough to able to triple team Steph without getting exposed on the inside. So yes, okay, there's no Klay Thompson for these Warriors. Obviously, we know that since the beginning of the season, but they still move the ball very well. We saw the way Draymond's coming back into like peak Draymond form. Maybe not in the form of stats, but when you look out there, he's vocal. He's coaching James Wiseman. He's out there. He's stopping 3-on-1s on his own. Like that is peak Draymond Green. That's what he brings to a franchise, and that for me is dangerous because he's going to be able out there kind of dictate traffic and really make sure they're moving the ball. San Antonio doesn't have the speed outside of DeJounte Murray to really match up well against Golden State's offense. It's going to be tough for them to end up triple teaming them. So when you're not triple teaming Steph, it's a disaster waiting to happen. I'm really curious to see what they do with Keldon Johnson in a matchup like this. He's the one player for me that's kind of that X factor outside of DeJounte Murray, where he has the length and he has that raw athleticism to kind of match up. Very similar player to DeAndre Hunter, and he's a very long player on the wing. So I'm really curious to see how they kind of use him tonight. Are they going to use him in blanket coverage versus Steph, or are they going to say you're guarding Kelly Oubre or Andrew Wiggins one-on-one? That for me is going to be the X factor in this game. I think Steph goes absolutely nuts tonight.
So definitely also play Andrew Wiggins. Is that what I heard? Was that what the last thing you said? Awesome. All right, let's move on to the next game. Oh, let me give you the lines.
Never Andrew Wiggins. Never Andrew
Let
Wiggins.
me give you the lines.
I mentioned him briefly before. It was before we got to this game, but Devin Vassell in a spot like this. Look, one thing I want to talk about Devin Vassell, again, slate starting for value. There is no value on this slate. Like, there's no confident value play on this slate. There's none of these guys that are 3,500 that are going to absolutely go bonkers. But Devin Vassell has gotten somewhat of a trust from Pop in the past 3 to 4 games where he's getting 20 plus minutes. If you give a guy of his magnitude, of his raw talent, 20 plus minutes, he will perform. He's at 3,800. He's dirt cheap. So we're talking about Cam Johnson. He's coming in 40% owned. Devin Vassell is coming in 4% owned. This is the best player of the 2020 draft outside of LaMelo Ball.
There you go. Had to cover your bases there. The Warriors
and Tyrese Halliburton, because we said that. I'm saying exactly what we said in the draft show. I had LaMelo number 1, Tyrese Halliburton, Devin Vassell.
It's true. I don't remember Vassell, but I believe you. I remember Halliburton, but we've been talking about him a lot this year. We haven't really talked about Vassell as much. The Warriors favored by 1 at home, over under of 228. So it's one of the higher totals for the entire slate. Just scrolling back up. I mean, Brooklyn and the Cavs is now up to 226. So that's pretty solid. This one's 228. But the last game on the slate, we have the Sacramento Kings. We have the Los Angeles Clippers. Thank you. This one sits at a nice 230. So that's what we like to see. Los Angeles is favored by 10 at home. Seen a lot of Paul George. De'Aaron Fox is back. That's nice. How do you feel about this one?
The one thing that I like to attack on Sacramento is Luke Walton's defensive. What's up?
I was just going to say we got a little bit of news. Garland out, Sexton in. So it's just Sexton.
One thing I will say, not to cause panic, this has happened before, and he was late scratched 10 minutes after. So I'm just saying, like, don't get mad if that happens. I'm just like, it has happened twice before when he's been out 5 or 6 games in a row now. It has happened twice before out of those 6 where they say he's in, and then 10 minutes later they're like, oh no, he's not playing.
Watch out.
So just be careful. One thing that I love to attack on Sacramento is Luke Walton's defensive scheme. It is by far the worst in the NBA. It's not even close. By far the worst in the NBA. They basically play man coverage as if it's an NFL team. And none of these guys have the talent to play one-on-one coverage. You're asking Harrison Barnes to guard Kawhi Leonard tonight.
Love it.
I'm not even going to comment.
Love it.
Aaron Fox doesn't play defense. Buddy Hield doesn't play defense. This is a defensive system that doesn't work for this team. And they absolutely suck versus primary ball handlers. That's why I love Paul George in this spot. He's been handling the ball more than Kawhi. So again, this is a night where any one of them could end up, really end up going off. I think both of them could go off in a spot like this. The question in that case is that does Sacramento keep up to really make this a game? TPJ, Pavi, Ashley, you guys all covered the Clippers. You know that they're struggling versus guards this year. Clippers are struggling versus guards. It wouldn't be a bad stack to end up going PG with De'Aaron Fox. That could be the late night hammer. That could be our Mahmoud Swall, where you know what? You have those 2 guys that can really, really take it in a matchup like this, and they could be going back and forth. PG really contributes on the defensive end. Obviously, Kawhi does his thing on the defensive end too, but the volume is there for PG. The rebounds are there for PG. I like PG in this matchup over Kawhi. Much better play on FanDuel, where he's even cheaper out there. I think he's 8,500 on FanDuel, so it's tough for me to get there on DraftKings, but if you're looking to have a contrarian lineup or you're playing that late slate where it's these 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock games, Paul George, De'Aaron Fox, that's where it's got to start. Patrick Beverley's another guy that kind of warrants interest on a slate that we're starving for value. I think if only had a nickel for every time I was able to say that. It's a guy that, you know what, Lou Will's questionable, doesn't really seem healthy. Even if he does play, I don't really think he gets all that much run in a game like this. Pat Bev is a guy that he could wreak havoc against De'Aaron Fox. So he's that guy that could kind of be up in his face. But again, there's not really much else to this game for me. It's really all the studs.
Why not Luke Kennard?
You're going to bring up a Dookie on the...
You were in love with Luke Kennard earlier this year. Get the fuck out of here.
He made us a ton of money. So,
I mean, I don't know. As you said, bad pace of spot against the team. Doesn't want to play defense. Lou Will's not healthy.
Bombs away.
LFG, baby.
Bombs away. So if Lou Will is out, I like that play a lot better. You saw what happened when Lou Will's out. He's literally the only shooter that comes off the bench there. So
yeah. Oh man, 3,600, 32 points. That's a nice night. It's a nice night. That's what we're looking for. Obviously, he's a little more expensive.
DJ says, what if the Clippers go and get Zoe? I'm really curious to see if he's out. If you're out there listening, bro, if the Clippers go and get Zoe, they need somebody to defend the ball. They get torched by guards every night. Every odd night, there's somebody that torches the Clippers. That's a primary ball handler every night. They need Zoe.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's back to the chat.
Just grab rebounds, play D.
Don't shoot, please.
Don't shoot. Shoot the ball to PG, get the ball to Kawhi.
When we were talking about the Suns, Booker on that Kendall Jenner Kardashian shit, I like that, Ben. I like that a lot. It's hey man, it is tried and true. It is straight up tried and true. We got Alex. What's up, buddy? FanDuel GPP. Young, Dragic, Rose, Herter, Anunoby, Robinson, Gordon, Green, Vooch.
Wow.
Or Young, Dragic, Rose, Herter. Yeah, I had to. Anunoby, Grant, Vanderbilt, Aldridge, and Capella.
First one all the way.
Yeah, I like that.
That first one's really nice.
Pretty sexy. Let's see. Oh, wait, we already did that. Sorry. Switched it up due to some news. FanDuel GPP. Dragic, Goodwin, D'Lo, Herter, Grant, Oubre, Sabonis, Green, Capella. Seems like we've talked about all those guys outside of Oubre, right?
Don't play Goodwin. Check them out. There's somebody else that's there.
I wonder who it is. Ben, final cash balance builds. Depot, Ellington. Oh, we've been making fun of Ellington in the chat earlier. I don't know if you saw that, Ghost. Johnson, is Vassell better?
You need Johnson and Cat. You need Johnson and Cat.
Okay, that makes sense. Boucher, Vooch, Dragic, Draymond, Oubre better? I assume that means Capella.
I like that. There's no like name that really jumps off the page outside of Vooch. Capella, obviously, of course, my boy. Gonna drop like 30 and 30 tonight.
Let's go.
Like there's no like real sexy name in there. There's no Curry. There's no, but that will get the job done for you. I would be shocked if it'll get the job done for you. Make sure you play Johnson though. Don't play Vassell now because he's 40% on. If Johnson outscores Vassell, you're behind the pack.
Do the Nets win by 9 to 10, 11 or 12 or more? I took Cleveland plus 10.5.
I was about to say, I don't think this goes to double digits. Shout out Paul Pierce mocking Cleveland's defense, yet they're second in the NBA in defensive rating.
Paul Pierce is the worst. Can we all agree upon that? Like he just sucks.
You're mocking Cleveland defense. They're second in the league in defensive rating.
Oh, to be fair, they haven't really played anyone, but still, it doesn't matter.
You can't mock the team's defense. They're second in defensive rating.
Exactly. Paul Pierce.
That's not the way this works. Anyways, I think they keep it close. I think Drummond goes nuts. Sexton back is huge if he plays.
Yeah, I took Cleveland 10.5. Again, pointsbet.com, promo code WinDaily500. You get a bunch of free money.
I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, it is currently. Let's see. I still have it at 10.5. Yep. Oh, and the over under went up again. Now it's 227. You gotta love the over, baby. All right, Brian. More Monkey Night fights. The 3 early games. Jalen under
5, Embiid over 24. Ben over 2.5 steals and blocks. Okay. Tristan under 8.5 rebounds. Yeah. Smart under 2.5 threes. Ooh. Kemba over 3.5 assists. I wouldn't touch Kemba just because of the minutes restriction. That's the one thing. It's like can Kemba get over 3.5? Yeah, it's really low for a player of his stature, but now you know, the moment he's on the court, stopwatch is clicking. Like he's on a hard minutes restriction there coming off a serious injury. So that's the one thing there.
I can't take all the unders, man. Like it just freaks me out.
There's a lot of unders in there. Like there's nothing to really root for. So
I would rather not take the under and find another over that I like. Because every time something happens, in the over, you're excited. In the under, you're terrified. So I don't know. It's a personal thing. I know that's not how betting works if you actually want to do it for real, but it's just a personal thing. Porzingis starting at center. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate that. Sean, we have FanDuel, Brunson, Dragic, George, Rose, Johnson, Robinson, Boucher, Aldridge, Vooch. Sounds fun.
I like it. Roll it.
Let's roll it. Sean actually has another one, it looks like. Brunson, Dragic, George, Rose, Keldon. Is that the same one? Oh, maybe he just specified the Johnson.
Oh, Keldon. Yeah. Yeah. I like Keldon Johnson. I was talking about it before. They're gonna need his they're gonna need his wingspan out there to play D. So he's gonna get a ton of minutes. I like that spot.
Tyler from before, JB instead of Goodwin.
Who's JB? Jalen Brunson?
I think so.
Yes, Brunson over Goodwin any day of the week.
Love it. Alex, what's up, buddy? Thoughts on Osman being primary scoring option?
He won't be the primary scoring option right now. Sexton's going to be out there on ball. Drummond's going to eat in the paint. Drummond comes out. Jared Allen. They're all going to be options before Osman now. Still a good player. I am an Osman fan. Same thing with Larry Nance, but those guys kind of take a back seat to Sexton and Drummond in the starting five. And when Jared Allen comes in, he's lost there too.
Jared Allen. Glide. Ghost, you sold me. Vassal over Cam and GPP.
Ride or die.
Ride or die, baby. Brian, Luke, under 28.5. Sabonis, under 23.5 miles.
No.
All right, I'm out. We'll go to the next one. Go to the next one. Trey, okay. This one looks better. This one looks more fun. Trey over 24.5. Grant over 23.5. Capella under 2.5 blocks and steals.
What was the word you said before 2.5?
Say it again.
What was the word you said before 2.5?
Good point.
What does that mean?
I don't. Right. He wants to win money. Like I can't blame the guy for trying.
Blocks. Herder under 4.5 assists. I like that. That's an intriguing one. Herder under 4.5 because he's going to be shooting a ton tonight. I don't really see him getting there in the form of assists. Plum Dog over 7.5. He's going to have to match up against Capella. He's going to be out there a ton. Ellington over 1.5 threes. Ballsy. I like it. Ellington over 1.5 threes. Wow. It's an over, so I'm never going to say no. But it is ballsy.
Here's a good one. Houston first half plus 165. Let me just scroll down. Let's remember what that line was. Currently sits at Houston plus 5.5. So I actually think it went up a little bit. Depot, come on.
I'm so big on the Phoenix Suns, though. You know that. You know, we've been talking about Phoenix Suns for how long now?
Yeah, but they haven't done what they've done.
They're in a playoff spot. What do you mean? What have they done?
I don't know. They just feel like
they're 86. They're top 4 in the West. What do you mean? What have they done?
Fucking fall. Get out of here.
What do you mean? What have they done? They're 8-6. CP3 point guard. At those odds, it's definitely worth it.
Tasty. I like that. Fucking
that's
take
like
it.
That's take the one where it's like, you know what? It's worth it. At plus 160, you just reply no. Plus 160.
Yeah.
Those are odds that are worth it. Christian Wood's going to do work. DeAndre Ayton's going to get into foul trouble, mark my words. Depot's out there. Aaron Gordon's going to be able to knock down some shots. Devin Booker's on his on some Kendall Jenner shit. I like it.
Love it. Rondo or Goodwin?
Check the model. You'll get your clear answer.
Really? Oh, I would have said neither. All right. Check the model. You know how it goes. Brian is just trolling the shit. I remember Reggie from last night?
Come on.
I think it was just Brian the whole time.
Don't do this to me, bro. I even ordered a Nelson Aguilar Eagles jersey.
Oh, just a burn, I'm assuming. Gary doesn't even shoot Ellington. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, there's a guy that could just run for 25 minutes.
Gotta love it. All right, we're going to get out of here. Ghost has a million lineups to make. I only make like 2. So like I've got time, but Ghost has like 300 he's got to fix. Thank you, everybody. Sincerely, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. We sincerely do appreciate the help and support there. Wait, we're back. Houston first half plus 107 is 300 plus 300.
Over 107.5 in the first half. It's an over.
Yeah, it's always the over, Brian. It's always the over. Make sure to follow us at Win Daily Sports. Follow him at DFS_Ghost. Me at Michael Brazil 1, all on Twitter. Make sure to hop into the Win Daily Sports. We're still figuring it out. It's a VIP community chat. That was a fun one I came up with last night. Our expert chat, our instant messenger chat where we talk about sports and help you win money. WinDailySports.com/chat. Hang out there. Thank you, Rocker, for all that you do. I think that's it. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to Ghost, everyone over here at HNB Media TV. Thank you to Win Daily Sports, for myself, for everybody. We hope to make it a very profitable Wednesday night in the NBA.